What's up, Fanout Crew? Brian here. I just got back from an amazing vacation last week with my wife and her family, my in-laws. We had a wonderful vacation down at St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Little did I know until the day before the trip, my father-in-law says, "Hey, yeah, I heard there's some really cool arcade place there that has a lot of pinball." And I was like, "Well, what's St. Simon's near?" And he says, "Brunswick, Georgia." And I said, "I know what's in Brunswick. The Pinball Palace." I've never been, always heard amazing things. I saw them as a nominee for the Twippies, I think last year, maybe the year before. But anyways, I decided to stop in and, looked them up. A really, really awesome place, and I think it's the way to have any type of arcade set up these days. It's a admission fee, basically. Instead of being like pay per play, you pay either $10 for an hour, at least as of the time of this video, it's $10 an hour. I think it was 15 or 20 for 2 hours, and then $25 for an all-day admission. This video isn't sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. I just thought this was the best pinball place I've ever been to, and it was worthy of a shout out. I got a chance to meet Nick while I was there, which is one of the owners. It's a family-owned business, which I also thought was really cool. But I had played games for probably 3 or 4 hours. I probably didn't even touch half the games. They've got like 96 games. We're going to do a walkthrough video here shortly, or maybe even while I'm talking, who knows. But their website advertised, I think, 96 or 98 games on the showroom floor, like pinball games on the floor. They also had a pretty decent selection of some old arcade games, 5 or 6 like cabaret arcade games, which you don't see very often anymore. And then they also had a kind of something I thought was interesting, at least, but good if you've got kids. They had a huge like bounce room area, which I imagine if you're, a parent and you want to come play pinball, this kind of gives you a nice little secure place. Your kids can play and do stuff while you're distracted playing pinball. But all in all, it was really fun. I thought, my wife and I hung out there for most of the day. Her stepsisters and their boyfriends came to visit as well. They had a good time. I would say this probably my new favorite game out of the ones I played was a game called Tales of the Arabian Nights, which or otherwise known as Totan. I've heard a lot of people give amazing reviews for that game, and now I understand why. Just looking at pictures of the game, I didn't see what people were describing to me when they said this is their favorite. But now that I've seen like the claw might not be the best word. There's like a needle system or jail bars that can come up on either return lane and capture your ball. I thought that was really cool. The sound effects and the music are just amazing. It's a really good and fun experience. It's really a world under glass. I thought it was great. What else did I get to play for the first time? I played Twilight Zone for the first time. I thought that was really interesting. There was a lot of stuff under the glass that, they built a world there. I would say it's probably not the flowiest game, though, and I do like a lot of flow, but it was fun. I got to play an Addams Family for the first time in forever. That was great. Whitewater I played for the first time. That was awesome. I finally got to play Jersey Jacks, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not worth the $25,000 to $30,000 that some of you guys are paying for it, but it was a good game. I don't think the call outs are very good, and there's a little too much going on with you picking one of like 100 characters and stuff, but there was some neat stuff in the game, I guess. Got to play my first spooky games. So Rick and Morty, was okay. The call outs and stuff obviously are really good, but it's a Rick and Morty game, and Scott Denisi did the sounds, so it's hard to go wrong with that. My wife actually loved America's Most Haunted. I thought it was also really fun. Nick, the owner, was showing me he had done some mods to it to try to improve the gameplay and whatnot. But really kooky and just interesting sense of humor the guys at Spooky have. So I thought that was fun to finally play. I did also finally get to play Ultraman. I will say that I think between Ultraman and Halloween, Ultraman's a little bit more my style. Obviously, with Godzilla behind me, I like the kaiju stuff and the old Japan stuff. But I also really like the Halloween movie franchise, but I think Ultraman translated better to pinball. It's a little bit more upbeat and fun. Halloween, I think, is a game that would probably be better suited for at-home play. Like you can play in a dark room with the sound cranked up or something. I think that would be more interesting than playing on location, but I don't know if it was on the most recent code or not. I meant to ask Nick while I was there, but I did play this Halloween. This is the second machine for Halloween I've played. It did feel a little bit better on this version of code, whichever version it was, than the one I had played a few months ago in Destin. But I would still say it I don't know that it's for me, and I did ask Nick as the operator, like, hey, how has Halloween and Ultraman been received by people that are coming in? Like, especially with it being a free play location, like, are people playing it? Like, do they seem to like it? And he said that Halloween was probably one of the most oftenly abandoned game there, meaning someone did not finish, like someone started a game but then did not finish all 3 balls. So he said 9 out of 10 times when you walk up to the machine, there's already a ball sitting in the shooter lane because someone walked away from it before they finished their game. So I would say out of all the games I played at Pinball Palace, I actually believe him on that, because I walked up to many games that I think 2 total had a ball sitting in the shooter lane. Halloween was one of them, and the other one I think was Stargate, I think, or Dr. Dude. No, it wasn't Dr. Dude. What game was that? It was like a weird science game or something. But anyways, I expected it to have it's not a very popular game, I guess is what I'm getting at. But I played probably 40 to 50 of their 90 some odd games, and only 2 of them had a ball in the shooter lane when I walked up to it. One of them was Halloween. So I did think that was interesting, but again, I do think it's a game that would be best served at home in a dark environment where you can really crank up the volume and sort of set the mood for that horror aesthetic that the game is built around. All in all, it was an amazing place, I think. Nick was super friendly. We did have one game, I think it was Whitewater, when we were playing, one of the pop bumper like plastics popped off of the game. I just waved to Nick. He ran over, was like, oh, weird, slid the glass off, fixed it for us, and we were back on the game. Like, immediately got attention, immediately got fixed the right way. Just really attentive guy, and very knowledgeable too, I have to say. Like, I was asking Nick about like different game rules and what he thought about stuff, and he'd be like, well, here, let me show you, and then he would very skilled guy point at what you want to do is hit this shot, and then he was playing with just his left hand and like would make the shot and then point, well, now you want to do this, and flip again. Like, really knowledgeable guy and really friendly, and shared a lot of game rules and stuff. So great experience overall. Another game that I got to play that I've always wanted to play was Harlem Globetrotters. I've watched the girls at Hot Nudge play that a few times on Twitch. I really liked it. Has like some elements that I feel like I recognized from Grand Prix, which is my favorite like old school game. So I thought that was nice. Finally got to play Stargate for the first time. That was interesting. Starship Troopers I played for the first time. I was not impressed with that game. I expected more from it, but mainly because I love the movies. I got to play Mandalorian for the first time since I sold mine, and yeah, the last month or two I thought I was missing Mandalorian, and then after playing their LE, I have to say I don't think I miss it. My brain was remembering something else, like some nostalgia that just didn't weigh out logically with how the game actually plays. But speaking of Mandalorian LE, I do think one of the things that impressed me most about this collection was most of their games, especially the newer ones, if there's an LE option or elevated trim level, that's probably the version they have for most of their games. So it was really nice to see the LEs and be able to check them out. Excuse me. Also, nearly every game had a topper, whether that be the official topper or something they came up with just to make it unique. I thought that was really nice. I finally got to see the Ninja Turtles topper in person, like the official Stern one at least. And I have to say, I wasn't that impressed with it, especially for $1,000. Like that thing's not worth $999. It's a flat piece of plastic with a couple lights and a plastic eyeball that kind of looks around, but not impressive. Not worth $1,000. Stern, sorry. What else? Willy Wonka and Wizard of Oz for the first time. Willy Wonka was actually kind of interesting, but not a lot of assets, it seemed like, just in the two games I did play. I'm trying to think of any other standout titles. Champions Pub. I got to play that. I loved it. I had never knew it had this like little jump rope training mode in the back where you literally are making the ball jump over the rope with the flipper buttons. Like, that blew my mind. Like, I was like, what? When I got there and got to that mode. So really, really cool place. I wish it was closer to me. Like, I was on vacation. This place is probably 5 or 6 hours from me in Georgia. I wish it was like 10 minutes down the street because I'd be giving them my money every day. So long story short, though, great place, great selection of pins. All of them were well maintained and in great working order. I don't think I saw a single game there with an out of order sticker on it. Interestingly, though, towards the end of the day, I actually I stopped and talked to Nick. I was like, "Hey, I want to buy a shirt for me and a shirt for my wife. Like, let me see what you've got." And I mentioned we've got our podcast. He said, I just started making content for Pinball Palace. And anyways, we hit it off, and I noticed he had a video up of Alien, but I didn't see Alien in Pinball Palace. And so I asked him, is Alien here? Did I miss it? And he said, oh, no, that's at our, we have another building with a bunch of, games that we keep private away from the public because we don't want kids and people to tear it up. So it's either like new stuff we've got in that we haven't put out here yet, or stuff we just don't want people to tear up because it's rare and hard to find. And also it's kind of our shop, so it's where we go, bring games when they break down and to work on. And then he says, it's within walking distance. Do you want to go check it out? Hell yes, I want to go check it out. Let's go. So this is after I've been at the place for 4.5 hours. And so anyways, Nick walks us to their building. I'm not going to describe where it is or how close it is because there's a lot of stuff there, and I don't know if they want that to be public, but I'll show you guys a little bit of video. But I do want to thank Nick for, trusting me and my wife to go over there and check it out. He actually left us there unattended so he could go back to the business and just had me bring him back his keys. But super nice guy. We get over there and he's like, have you ever seen an Orbiter 1? And I'm like, on YouTube. I would like to see it. So he's like, well, let's play it. So we got to play Orbiter 1. I'm going to put some video up here, but what a bizarre and crazy concept. And I know, like, this game is not very traditional by any means, and yeah, it would suck for tournament play, blah blah blah. It's a waste of space, people have said, but I thought this was a very unique pinball experience, and it is a cool kind of piece of history to see. And as I understand it, based on what Nick told me, there's not a lot of them functioning out in the world anymore. A lot of them got butchered up and used for parts, or the cabinets were used for other things, and I guess it didn't do well on location, so not many survived. But really, really cool and bizarre experience. And then also I got to play the Pinball Brothers Alien for the first time, and I have to say I am a fan. I've watched some videos of the gameplay before, and I was like, I don't think this is for me, but I gotta say, after flipping it, I felt really happy. Like the quality, the feel of the flips, all the mechanisms worked. I got the Xenomorph to eat the ball. The call outs, the sound and assets were all there. Really beautiful game. I think, yeah, sure, the playfield art might be a little on the boring side, but I had fun, and that's what pinball is all about. I had fun. I also played a game called Medusa, I think, which I'd never heard of before, but that was one of the games there in that kind of private collection area. That was really good. Some really cool games. I'll show some in this very quick walkthrough, but all I gotta say is I wish there was more places like this, especially in my area. As far as arcades I've been to, this is 10 out of 10. I think the only thing that may have been missing for me is it would have been nice to have a little lounge area or whatever for you to be able to take a break and chit chat with your friends or whatever. But outside of that, as far as pinball goes, these guys have the best selection, the best variety, and the best maintained games I've ever played in public, period. I hope to be back. Again, Nick at Pinball Palace, thank you very much for showing me the private collection and for your time, walking me through some of the games and just chit-chatting. But guys, if you get a chance, if you're ever in that the Brunswick, Georgia area, Southeast Georgia, definitely check out the Pinball Palace. I don't think you'll regret it. And again, it was $10 for an hour, so even if you've only got an hour, $10 is worth it, especially for pinball. You can go if you were putting quarters in a machine, that's 5 plays, right? It's ridiculous. It's worth it. $10. So anyways, I've yammered on and on and on, so I'm gonna say fan out, and that's it. Like, subscribe, all of the good stuff. Keep a lookout for our next podcast next week. It's going to be not pinball related, but we're going to actually discuss the new Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So see you guys there. Later.